Trumpet is one of the most physically demanding instruments to play. If you don't practice, things will quickly get out of order. There's a saying out there that says, if I don't practice for a day, then I'll notice. If I don't practice for 2 days, then the audience will notice. You know what? I'm pretty sure I just butchered that quote. But the point is very simple. It's clear. It's easy to lose what you've worked out on the trumpet, and seemingly quicker than other instruments. If you're practicing the trumpet, this video will teach you how to build upon your skills when life gets busy. First, you need to do some self-analysis and decide exactly how serious you are about improving your chops on the trumpet. That will directly determine which of these tips you're going to want to adopt. The more you practice in good form, the better you'll become in the least amount of time for you. So how serious are you about your progress? No judgment here from me, but what you do need to do is to be honest with yourself. Because with trumpet, it's very simple. If you don't practice, you will not get better, period. If you're the type to make excuses, the trumpet doesn't care. With that said, here's tip number 1. Don't skip practice. If you're traveling, take your trumpet with you and get your routine in. Now, with that said, you might not have a routine. You might be the type of person that's piecing things together. You might be taking advice from multiple YouTube videos. You might not have a teacher. If any of that describes you and you're looking for something simple to follow, I already created a practice plan for you, and you can download it at the description section below this video. All right. It's already helped so many people. Go ahead, get yours now, practice it, reap the benefits. If you're really serious about maintaining progress, then you're going to need to take your trumpet with you and carve out a block of time to get the routine in. Whether you're going to get in the full routine or an abbreviated version of the routine, that's up to you. But if you're truly serious about your progress, then you need time with the horn on your face. Or as I often say, one of my maxims, keep the horn on your face. All right, I just wanted to give you a short example of what you can do, how you can modify your regular practice routine. As you know, I believe that flexibility is the master key to trumpet playing. I talked about that on the channel before. You can check out some of the other videos if you'd like to know more about that concept. With that said, I think it's important to include some flexibility in your practice, period. Like full routine or shorter version of your routine, you need to get some flexibility in. So for that reason, let's take a look at what that will look like with something like the column exercises. So what you're going to see here is I'm playing the first pass as written. They're slurs normally. But then on the second pass, I'm simply going to tongue everything. Remember, we have a limited amount of time to practice, so I'm trying to hit all the bases. So we're going to slur and we're going to tongue these. And at the end, I'm playing the pedal just for relaxation and to keep us honest. As we ascend to the upper register, the natural tendency is to tense up the body, things get tight, and when that happens, the sound closes up. Well, we need everything to stay open and as relaxed as possible. So pedal tones help with that. So we're going to put that at the end of every line here. All right, we need to get the fingers in shape and keep them ready to go. So we're going to use Clark Studies or something similar. And again, we can slur the first time through as written. And then on the repeat, we can get the tongue involved. The difference here compared to the slurs is now we're adding the fingers. So there's an extra amount of coordination that needs to be established. So really take your time here and line things up. All right, so I'm not really typically a man of gadgets. However, I do have a couple of gadgets. And since we're talking about being busy and staying in shape for trumpet playing, I want to present 2 gadgets to you that could prove helpful. So the first is the Pete. I like this gadget and the other I'm going to show you because this total workout is a total of 20 seconds to 30 seconds. That's it. And you only need to do this once a day. Okay. So you take this fat end here, close the teeth and place this right in front of the teeth. Wrap your lips around and gently pull for about 10 to 15 seconds. And what you see is the muscles are totally engaged. And then you turn things over and do the same thing. You're not going to pull this time, but you're going to allow the lips to just grip the device. And so we're just working out the muscles for trumpet playing. That's all. I mean, just what I did in front of you was kind of a big deal for the face. Okay. Something else that we need to do is practice our breathing. We don't even need the trumpet to do that. So I'm about to show you a device. Honestly, you don't really need this device. I always tell people to do your favorite form of cardio. So for me, that's walking around the block. So if you're really busy, maybe you're walking to work and you have a long walk to work, that's going to be good enough. I just like to dedicate a few seconds to a couple of minutes to breathing for trumpet playing, breathing with trumpet playing in mind. I typically do my breathing exercises on my walk home because I walk my children to school, and that's good. So if you get things like that in your routine, even when you're on the break, that's going to go a long way for when you do return to the horn. Okay, all that said, here's a device that I picked up from the local store. I don't even know what this is called. Um, it's a breath trainer. I think it's actually called a breath trainer. That's what it's called. So you just put it in your mouth, breathe in, and then you hold for a few seconds, and then you blow out. All right. So when you read the instructions on the box, that's how they instruct you to do it. There is a resistance knob here where you can make your job a little harder on the inhale and the exhale. And it's just a little resistance and it expands your capacity, period. It expands your capacity. And when you go back to blowing the horn, things are just a little easier. Okay. That's something I like to use. In both cases, with the Pete and with the breath trainer, you're really only doing that in the Pete's case for like 20 to 30 seconds. And with the breath trainer, this can take maybe 2 minutes. That's it. That's all you need to do for a day. Tip number 2 is to transcribe or simply listen to music. What I'm talking about here is not a casual listening of music. Usually, jazz musicians get this type of listening in on a regular basis. When you do this process properly, it can take some time before you're actually truly ready to play your trumpet, which is why it can be a great practice when you're particularly busy, because while you're in transition via the planes, the trains, the automobiles, you can turn on your headphones and get a good listening session in. Doing this type of listening changes you from the inside out. By the time you get to playing your trumpet, you'll notice things to be a little different for the better. As a result, you start to gain some confidence, and then the cycle continues of listening, singing, playing, confidence growing. You're maturing as a trumpet player. When you follow this model, you spend most of your time listening and singing than you do actually playing the trumpet. And it's super beneficial to your trumpet playing. All right, tip number 3 is not what you think. I'm going to tell you, don't buzz your mouthpiece on vacation. You weren't expecting that, were you? Listen, most people think I'm going on a trip. I can't take my trumpet, but I want to get some type of practice in. I take my mouthpiece. But my question to you is, what does mouthpiece practice look like? And how does mouthpiece practice change, if at all, if you're not actually incorporating trumpet into your practice? While this can be done with success, most people don't have any idea what they're doing. Buzzing the mouthpiece while you're on vacation ends up doing more harm than good. In this scenario, I would advise you, if you're going to leave your trumpet at home while on vacation, then leave your trumpet at home while at vacation. 100%. Don't take the mouthpiece either. Why? Because it'll be better to need to start over when you return rather than to have to overcome bad habits that you developed while you were on vacation for the last couple of weeks. Now, I feel like I need to give you a solution if you do choose to take the mouthpiece with you. One of the main problems with taking the mouthpiece is we are trained, our body's trained to get the feedback that the bell gives us. And you're not going to get that same response from the mouthpiece. Therefore, subconsciously, you're overblowing. You're trying too hard for that feedback. Okay. As a result, your face swells up and it just starts to feel really weird, for lack of a better definition. All right. Things get swollen, you feel tired. So listen to what it sounds like to overblow. Everything's very unstable. There's no chord to the sound. Just doing that 2 times in front of you, I feel swollen already. So keep things really easy going on the mouthpiece is really important. So that's why I was saying earlier, just don't even take your mouthpiece along. If you are just going to do it, make sure that you play softly and make sure that you limit yourself. Put a time limit on yourself. 5 minutes. That's a long time to buzz a mouthpiece, really. So, yeah, I guess I could sum up this whole video by saying it's all or nothing. What do you think about that? Take your instrument with you, practice. I know some people carve time out in the car, but if you're not that serious of a player and it's just a hobby for you, there's nothing wrong with that. If you want some tips on how to practice your mouthpiece, or if you want some other trumpet lessons, then click or tap on one of the videos right here on the screen, and I'll be there to help you.